Premiership Power Rankings, folks, for round 17. Obviously, Six Nations is still going on, so we're without many of the expected faces. But yeah, we still had four pretty interesting games. Some senior talent from one of the teams in particular who got a win. But yeah, we'll go through the rankings. You guys can let us know your thoughts. I do think the Premiership, being as tight as it is in terms of the results, doesn't work as well for Power Rankings because the teams jump up and down a lot more than I would like, but hey, it's the sign of a good league, I guess, that it only takes one result to really suddenly kind of jump over one of your rivals. Quins, I've got down a spot. What's going on with the Quins, guys? They lost to Gloucester 28-26, bit of a tit-for-tat game. They did have the lead up until I think like on the hour mark or something like that, but 6-8. Recent record for Quins is not that flash. So, yeah, still a talented side. 6-8 is only just a kind of negative record. And there's a team I've got with a similar record, a lot higher than them. But, yeah, just the recent games have not been there, sadly, for the Quins boys. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back. Bath, I optimistically rated Bath a lot higher the last time I did the Premiership Power Rankings. So they're down 3 spots. 4-9 is their record. Yeah, 25-10 loss at home to London Irish. Early lead when London Irish had a yellow card. They punished it, but then they had a couple of yellow cards of their own, didn't they, the Bath boys? So ended up copping a bit of a walloping at the end of it, sadly. So, yeah, down 3 spots for Bath. Maybe I was a little bit optimistic. Newcastle also down 3 spots. Record is 5-8. They lost to Bristol 30 points to 12. I feel like maybe there's a moment if that Gary Graham try gets given where he gets held up. I mean, not by the fact that it wasn't given, the fact that they weren't able to score it is maybe a bit of a momentum shifter. So, yeah, sadly for them, Bristol seems to just want that one more, which is a cliche, but I think kind of true. And speaking of Bristol, we got them at number 8. Bristol have kind of looked bad this year. 4 wins. There's not a heck of a lot from a side which has got a fair few big names in it, but up 3 spots with that win. That's just the kind of nature of the Premiership right now, that one win sees your fortunes ultimately change. So, yeah, wet game. Harry Randall seemed to be, putting his hand back up for England selection, and the atmosphere seemed phenomenal, but, yeah, they even managed to get a bonus point at the death, didn't they? So, yeah, ultimately for the Bristol boys, that was one of their better weeks. Leicester, I've got up a couple of spots. I was speaking about the senior backline. Who did they have? They had Gopeth, Ashton, Mike Brown, like a bunch of some of the older guys. But they looked all right, man. Leicester Junior looked all right. I mean, Jasper Visa having some big carries. Andre Pollard was running without seemingly hurting himself. So, yeah, good times. Leicester's record is still in the negative, but their recent run of bad results doesn't look as bad with that 24-18 win over Saracens as well, albeit a depleted Saracens side, but everyone's depleted at this point of the season, so there you go. Gloucester I've got here in 6th. Gloucester, still love them all, but then you've got some bloody entertaining players in that Gloucester side, mate. Carreras was absolutely bossing the show, and Lewis Rezamek came off the bench. He's back fit, so ended up not getting a try, and then ended up getting a try. So happy days, man. Gloucester played some exciting rugby, not just about them all. So their 28-26 win at home over Quins, certainly pretty welcome. Exeter are down a couple of spots because they had the bye, and some teams passed them in the meantime. Northampton being one of those sides. Northampton are up a spot, so they beat Sale, which is another one of the sides. So, Sale and Saracens both lost this week. It's maybe speaks to some missing players. But anyway, I mean, Sale had some guys back. But anyway, Northampton, yes, 19-0 down. Maybe the story of that one is probably the cards. That game was really horrendous with cards. I mean, Tuilangi got red carded, and Sale had, I think, 2 more yellow cards. So Northampton, maybe, I guess, a bit fortunate, but you only play the team that's in front of you. They came back from well behind and punished the Sale guys when they were down in personnel. So, yeah, up a spot. Speaking of Sale, they're down a spot. Pretty much the same story. Tuilangi's forearm red card was pretty dumb. Pretty clear cut. And they still managed to score some more tries, though, when they had that red card. I think they were only 7-0 up when they got the red card. Went on to score a couple more tries. Ben Curry was looking the business, and then a couple of yellow cards towards the end of the game. Not helpful. So, yeah, close game, but not to be. London Irish, though, their run is actually going quite nice. I got them up 2 spots. Their record is not that flash, but their recent run, as I mentioned, is good. And they got some just slick plays, eh? The hands of the London Irish guys are just really, really highly skilled, man. Like, it's just a fun team to watch. Some teams are fun to watch, and London Irish is one of those teams to watch. So, yeah, 25-10 over Bath away. Not the strongest opponent in terms of the table, but they still had to go and get a result, and they sure enough did it. Saracens are still top, despite the fact that they lost. They came back from 24-3 against that, as I mentioned, kind of a senior Leicester team to finish, 24-18. So a second half comeback, not enough to get a result, but certainly a decent comeback in the end of it. So, yeah, we will see how things pan out for the rest of the competition. So many teams, man, have just got the same record: 6-8, 7-7, 7-6, 7-7, 6-7, 6-8. It's competitive, which you gotta love, man. It means it's kind of edge of your seat stuff, and you don't know who's gonna win. Except for Saracens, who are 12-2, although they lost. So there you go. You guys have any thoughts? And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.